front of that pass to make the interception. Mojo up 29-0 at halftime, and they controlled this game throughout. Permian wins 43-6, and I think as good as the offense looked tonight, and some of those big plays is great to see from Mojo being explosive. Defense also looked great tonight, shutting down what is a tricky option offense from Tascosa that you see scored 34 on Legacy last week. Now, some of that was garbage time touchdowns against Legacy last week, but still 6 points against a very talented Tascosa team. Great job by the Permian defense as well.
That is right, Jacob. Now, especially a lot more confidence going forward for the Permian Panthers, especially after a Week 1 loss. Now, in more games tonight, it was Legacy at Abilene. So Abilene High entered the state rankings this week up to number 9 in Class 5A Division II. The Eagles had a great challenge tonight hosting Midland Legacy, which is ranked 25th in Class 6A. First play for the Eagles, it's Dylan Slack going deep over to Rylan Bradford, who grabs it and is going to be untouched into the end zone. So the Rebels, they were able to answer back on the next drive, Jacob. The handoff goes over to Damian Johnson, who is going to run through some of the tackles, and he's able to tie it at 7 apiece.
Of course, Damian's a defensive back, but they've been playing him at running back, and he's been doing really well there.
That is right, Jacob. So check out this play. Marcos Davila, he looks downfield, and he finds my guy, Breck Stevens, for the reception right in front of the goal line.
And I believe that long pass broke the Midland Legacy career passing yards record. Marcos set a new career record there.
We're talking about passing yards, but look at Marcos. He was able to use his wheels as he goes to the end zone for the touchdown. And it was Legacy. They were able to get the win over Abilene, 48-17, Jacob.
And of course, you see the score there, almost the reverse of what Abilene did to Permian in Week 1 of this season. Now, how much of that was Permian playing poorly? Abilene has a great team, no doubt, but Midland Legacy, a fantastic team as well. Number 25 team in the state for 6A football, and again, just beat the team that was ranked number 9 in 5A, so we may see the Rebels bump up a little bit. And you also see it down there in the bottom left corner. Huge game next week down there in San Antonio as number 25 Legacy plays at number 15 Cibolo Steel. That's going to be a big one.
Yes, it will be, Jacob.
All right, Midland High, they are on the road at Amarillo High this evening. Historic Dick Bivens Stadium in Amarillo. Opening drive for the Sandies, and their quarterback Jet Lopez scrambles, throws, and oh, look at that play. Julian Williams jumping right in front of the ball for the interception. Midland here gets it off to Elijah McCoy, and Elijah has been one of the breakout stars in our area this season. 30-yard touchdown run for him. This looks familiar. Handoff to McCoy. They're going to try to push him out, and ooh, little boy, leave me alone. Cannot be deterred. I wouldn't want to tackle Elijah either. He's a great back for Midland High. But they have a couple good backs, because here's Tim Babino getting in for another Midland High rushing score. Amarillo going to try to answer, but instead they are picked off on the screen by big Darian Mitchell. Love a big man with some hands. Midland High was in control early of this game. Amarillo would make a little bit of a comeback, but Bulldogs hold on to win 32-27. Midland High has started this season 3-0. First time they've started out 3-0 since 2014.
Good time to be a Midland fan, Jacob. Now, just checking out the Odessa High score, our last 6A game. Currently, the score, well, there was also a lightning delay, Jacob. At halftime, it was the Keller Indians. They were leading 30-21, Jacob. So, I mean, last week, all 4 of our 6A schools, they had wins. And, I mean, so far today, it's looking like, well, it was on the way to being 3-1 potentially. But, you know, who knows what the ending result of this game could have been.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if we have any updates on this game, because like Jair mentioned, they have a lightning delay there in the Fort Worth area where Keller is at. And as far as I can tell, I don't think we have any other updates on the score on this one. They may still actually be in a lightning delay. I mean, they, I think, made it to halftime, but may have had to go back into the locker rooms again because of the lightning. So we'll see if they end this one. They said there was a post on Facebook that said if it gets to 12:30 tonight, or I guess that'd be 12:30 a.m. tomorrow, they will call off this game and send, I don't know if they'll send Odessa High home or if they'll get to maybe stay at a hotel there in Keller.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's very interesting. Imagine, like, getting onto the football field at, like, let's say 12:15 in the morning, knowing that you started off a game at 7 o'clock the previous night.
Yeah, 10:39 right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got about 2 hours that they can still try and hope that lightning passes and get that game going. But Odessa High hanging with Keller, which I think is a little bit of a surprise to us, just because Keller, not an indictment of Odessa High by any means, but Keller has a really good team, made it to the 3rd round of playoffs last year, beat Odessa High by 35 points in their regular season meeting at Ratliff last year, and beat Midland Legacy in the 2nd round of playoffs.
That is true. Keller, they ran the table, well, I don't mean to, I'm sorry to use this phrase, but they did run the tables over Odessa High last year at Ratliff Stadium. But hey, I'm just very glad that the Broncos, that they're keeping up with Keller this time on this go-around, Jacob.
Broncos down by 9 and what may be an endless lightning delay. We'll see. All right, Jair, let's talk some of our 4A action for tonight. We had some good 4A games.
That is right, Jacob. So it was Big Spring at Monahans earlier today. So Chino Navarrete, he gets the handoff, and then it is his guy, Cole Pittman, who sees daylight ahead of him as he's going to run this for a very long touchdown to give the Lobos the lead. But Jacob, let's check out that Monahans defense. Big Spring's Gavin Padron gets picked off by David Carrasco before he gets brought down. He's able to slip past someone on offense, but hey, there he goes. He gets brought down. So the Lobos, they'll be working in the red zone. Chino Navarrete with a 3-clap before working his way to the end zone for another Monahans touchdown. But Padron, he would get himself going along with the rest of the Steers. He airs this out over to Jair. Franklin, who makes the reception, slips past the defender and makes it to the house for the touchdown. But Monahans has the perfect response. Navarrete, he looks to throw, and he finds Ben Cordova going downfield for the reception, and Cordova makes it to the end zone for the touchdown. It was Monahans that got the win, 52-24, adding another dub in the dub column, Jacob.
Figure this one will be high scoring. 2 good quarterbacks, 2 good offenses. Monahans offense especially been fantastic this year. Quick math, averaging about 50 points per game this season. They've gone 48, 49, 52 now this evening. Chino Navarrete and that offense looking great. And I mean, Monahans was our last team standing in the playoffs last year, made it to the regional championship game, 4th round of the playoffs. Somehow wasn't ranked in the preseason top 10 despite bringing back some really key pieces off that team, and still not ranked in the top 10. Maybe this week, finally, after another impressive win and a 3-0 start, maybe we'll get Monahans ranked finally.
Cool. I want to meet the guys who actually rank these teams, Jacob. I have to talk to them. I mean, I got to show the highlights of Monahans from last year. You got to show them the ones from the previous year. Don't sleep on the Lobos, though. They could really go deep this year in the playoffs, Jacob. I think they will go deep in the playoffs this year.
And it looks that way certainly early on. Last week, Monahans beat Andrews, which was impressive. Andrews trying to bounce back tonight.
That is right, Jacob. I was at that game. So the Greenwood Rangers, they hosted Andrews earlier tonight. First quarter, Andrews, they were threatening in the red zone. That slot T offense had me confused for a second as Aiden Olivas takes it to the end zone for the touchdown as Andrews took a 6-0 lead. So, Jacob, they were in control throughout the first quarter. This time, Milan Leroy, he gets the handoff for the Mustangs for the touchdown. They would go up 14-0 on the 2-point conversion. So later in the first, with barely any seconds on the clock, Olivas lobs this up to Cade Adams with no one in front of him. Yes, that's a pass. He's going to make it to the end zone for the touchdown, putting the Mustangs up 21-0. Later on, after Greenwood scored a TD, Jacob, it was that guy, Jayshawn Dubose, with a little float step, and he keeps on running to the house to make it 28-7. It was Andrews. They were able to get the win tonight, 41-28, adding to the win column, that is.
And it was, like you said, 28-7 that Andrews was up. I think in the second half, they kind of, like you mentioned, maybe took their foot off the gas a little bit. I think I saw even that play got a little more sloppy maybe in the second half, but a good win for Andrews. And I was just shocked to see they threw a pass because they're running that new slot T offense, which you said, which is very run heavy. It's all about misdirection and fakes, and everybody can get the ball, and you never know where it is. But they can, I guess, still work in a pass every now and then. And we saw that sophomore, Jayshawn Dubose, who he just pops when you see him on film, whether he's hurdling through guys or high-stepping or whatever it is.
When he was high-stepping, Jacob, I thought he was floating like, he had like someone like holding him like a puppet, and he just went, whoo, like he just elevated right off the ground a little bit.
Like an angel, perhaps, on his shoulder, like angels in the outfield.
Yes.
You seen that movie?
Yeah. No, actually, no, I have not seen that movie.
Okay, we'll talk.
I'm kidding with you. I have seen that movie.
I've
seen that movie. I've seen that movie.
All right, sticking with some 4A action, Fort Stockton was at home tonight against Clint Horizon. Fort Stockton stings the Scorpions 34-0. Coach Hickman and his team get another win. Pecos, they were at home tonight against Sweetwater. High-scoring battle out there at the new Eagle Stadium. Sweetwater, though, escapes with a victory, 53-40. We'll see Pecos next week. They're at their home stadium as they take on Stanton. And Jair, I guess we'll have some time to talk here. Anything else that stood out to you about our 4A results that we just witnessed? We obviously talked about Monahans looks really good. We like Andrews' offense. Anything else that stood out to you so far?
Well, I mean, one thing that I'll say about the Big Spring, I'm saying the Big Springs here, the Andrews Mustangs, is that they do have weapons all around Jay Sean DuBose and Aiden Olivas, so it's going to be fun to see what they can do offensively. More than just that slot T offense, but they're able to throw downfield. They have options open. As for Greenwood, it started out decent for them, and then it sort of fell apart for them in the red zone. They fumbled, and then Andrews was able to bring it back. So I think that Greenwood, they still have some things to work on over the next couple of weeks before they get into district play.
That's good. We do need to give the Greenwood perspective of all this because, again, they have a first-year coach, Brian Hill. He brings a lot of energy, brings the juice. We talked about that. If you're juiceless, you're useless. That's a saying they have out there in Greenwood. But they are 0-3 here to start the season.
Yes.
And they're a young team. They've got a sophomore quarterback. Defensively, I think, is where they're still kind of trying to work things out. Because their offense, with that sophomore quarterback, Lincoln Madrid, who I mentioned, he's played pretty well so far. I don't know how he looked tonight with you watching him there, but that defense, and Coach Hill's a defensive guy, so they'll get it sorted out eventually, but that's just kind of the growing pains I think that Greenwood's going through right now.
Yes, but also you got to think, so Andrews, they went into the half putting up 41 points on the board, if I'm not mistaken. So Greenwood was able to hold them scoreless throughout the second half, or also Andrews was able to make some mistakes to help out Greenwood in a way. So that game actually ended up becoming very close. So there could be some positives and some good takeaways tonight from a Greenwood perspective.
Yeah, they're going to keep building. All right, that's enough of us talking. Let's take a look at our Band of the Week.
Here's tonight's Band of the Week, brought to you by Midland College.
All right, we had Reagan County and Crane face off to be our Band of the Week. Let's take a look at the voting results. Battle of the Bands, Battle of the Birds, Owls and Golden Cranes. Nearly 3,000 of you voted on our website, CBS7.com, but Crane gets the edge with 1,821 votes. Congrats to the Golden Cranes, our Band of the Week.
So from Band of the Week, let's just take it over to the field. It was Reagan County visiting the Golden Cranes. So Crane possession, Tyson Brents tosses it to Trey Larson, who's going to take it 45 yards to the house for the touchdown as the Golden Cranes take the lead. Now let's check this out. Kason Brown, he looks for a target. He finds Raymond Salazar in the end zone for the touchdown. Pass the defender. How about that for a response? So later on, Brown with the quarterback keeper, he makes it to the end zone for another TD. The Owls, they would eventually take a 21-7 lead, but Trey Larson has other ideas as he's going to make his way to the sidelines as he's going to take this all the way to the house for his second touchdown of the night. And it was Reagan County, they were leading 42-40. That's what we saw, and now this is official, guys, right? This is official. It was Reagan County. They got the win still over Crane, 42-40, Jacob.
Reagan County improves to 2-1. Their offense has looked great so far this season, and they are a huge comeback by Wink in week 1 from the Owls being 3-0 here to start this year. All right, let's go out to Stanton, where we had a battle of the Buffaloes. There's a Forsan Buffalo, and there's a Stanton Buffalo. They both look very similar, but I guess they're the same species. Forsan with the ball. Hayden Boland takes the ball on a reverse, and he's going to throw this on the run. How about that? Finds Colton Martinez for the big gain on the big play. Forsan would score a touchdown to finish off that drive. Now Forsan with the ball again. Here's their quarterback, Holloway, rolling out, by himself some time. Great throw, finds Boland for a second touchdown for Forsan as they go up 12-0. Stanton with the ball. Here's their quarterback, Jake Benedict, keeping the ball, rolling around the edge and running through some Forsan defenders before he is brought down. Benedict, once again on a design quarterback run play, fights his way into the end zone for Stanton's first touchdown of the game, made it 12-7. Forsan, though, is the team that goes on to win this game, 32-14 over the Stanton Buffaloes. Forsan improves to 2-1.
Now in more games tonight in more games, Jacob, it was Kahoma taking on the Kermit Yellow Jackets. So Bulldogs quarterback Boyd Cox fakes it to running back Jaden Vineyard and lobs it to Austin Perkins for the first TD of the game. On the very next play, Kermit muffs the toss, and Cahoma's linebacker Jesse Hernandez, he scoops it up and scores to make it 14-0. Now, Jacob, the Bulldogs, they didn't stop. Later on, Boyd Cox, he's going to hand it off to Vineyard, who makes Kermit's defense miss, and he stiff arms another player and takes it all the way to the end zone for the touchdown, helping Cahoma expand that lead. But the Bulldogs had that dog in them tonight because Boyd Cox is going to lob it up, this time once again for his receiver Bryce Davis, who went high and scored to extend the lead for Cahoma. Now, the Kermit Yellow Jackets, they would eventually get on the scoreboard towards the end of the second half, but the final score of the ball game was actually Cahoma. They got the win 57-31.
Guys, do we have Noe out there in Cahoma? All right, so let's go out to CBS7's Noe Ortega, standing by with a post-game interview with the victorious Bulldogs.
Can you just talk about today's game and say what you felt like going on the offense and on the defensive side?
Today's game was great. Our game plan was just come out with full intensity, high motors, just full speed coming out. And we did. We came out, line blocked good. Boyd Cox, our quarterback, threw it amazing, and we got open and scored.
And then in the first half, you guys only led them to score 6 points in total. And so what happened in the second half when they went up and they scored over 30 points afterwards?
Yes, sir. I think that we put the second team in. We were getting those dudes some reps and getting them their development for the season's coming. And if someone's hurt, they'll be ready to step up.
And then can you talk to me about your position in the team? You play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, safety at times. So when you play all those positions, is it easier for you to get into sync when you're in games like this?
Yes, sir. It helps a lot getting in sync with everyone, knowing where everyone is, knowing where the ball is going to be coming from, where the block's going to be set. Helps a lot knowing everywhere on the field.
A big win for you guys tonight, and it's your senior year. What's the goal for you in your last year here in Cahoma?
The goal is to play every game as hard as we can and make a playoff run. Once we get in the playoffs, just win, win, win. That's our goal.
And what did your coaches tell you during halftime when you guys were up by so much? Did they tell you anything? Did they tell you to calm down, or how did that go?
They told us to keep a foot on the gas pedal, keep the energy high, come out high. We got the ball at half, tried to go score. Things didn't work out our way, but we came out hot.
Well, thank you so much, Billy, and congratulations on the win. Jakob, Jair, back to you.
All right, thank you, Noe, and congrats to Billy and Cahoma on another victory. Their offense looks fantastic this year. Some more scores from tonight's game. Alpine at home beats Wink 19-18. Kind of a strange score in that game. Might be one of those scoregamis, a score that's never happened before.
Yeah.
Alpine, though, picks up its first win of the season, first win of the Coach Andy Smith era, so congratulations to them. Wink, this is their first loss of the season.
And in more games, Jacob, it was Odessa Compass versus Iran, and it was Odessa Compass, the Cougars, they got the win over the Braves, 7-0, very low scoring.
Yeah, talk about an interesting score. They only needed one touchdown there for the Cougars, but last year when they played this game at Ratliff last year. Remember, that was low scoring too. It was like 14-7 or 14-12. Something like that. So you get these two together, and it's just going to be a bitter battle into the end. And Compass, that's their first win of the season. Iran, this is their first loss of the season. So kind of like that Wink Alpine game. One team escaping, being winless, another suffering its first defeat. McCamey, they were on the road tonight in Rock Springs. Finally got this score. Nice job, guys. McCamey beats Rock Springs 42-38. The Badgers also picking up their first win of the season after what was a surprising 0-2 start.
McCamey having a little bit of transition, but it's very nice for them to get that first dub of the season, right?
Right, and we talk about it all the time that these are still non-district games.
Yeah.
So you maybe go play some tougher opponents, or in McCamey's case, they played Crane, who we saw has a good team as well, and it's a 3A school, a bigger school. So McCamey gearing up for that District 1 where they're going to try to battle with Wink to maybe win that district title in that 2A district.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens down the line, Jacob. These teams are still gaining a lot more chemistry, and I think that they have a lot to play for, or they do have a lot to play for down the line.
All right, well, why don't we just keep on moving and talk about our CBS7 Player of the Week. Here's a look at that.
That is right.
Here's tonight's Player of the Week, brought to you by New Tech Commercial Roofing.
So our CBS7's Player of the Week is Kermit receiver and safety, Jaden Bejarano. In Week 2's victory against Crane, he put up a stat line of 176 total yards on offense while rushing for 2 touchdowns and receiving 2 more. On defense, he added 13 total tackles to the stat line. Jaden, as humble as ever, credits his teammates for this honor.
They've been doing a lot for me. The O-line, blocking, most of them keeping me up when I go down and touchdown and all that.
All right, back to the action. Let's talk six-man football. Westbrook was at Rankin, battle of number 4 team in the state versus number 5 team in the state. Westbrook with the ball, they hand it off to their running back, Keegan Gilbreath, who takes it into the end zone to start the game. Rankin's Dash Davis looking to throw here, but oh no, that one is picked off by Westbrook's Grayson Jeffrey. Jeffrey down the sideline for a 40-yard pick 6. Now later on, it's Westbrook again. Big Bo Payne takes the ball and brings the pain, muscling in for another Wildcat touchdown. And Jair, this is a bit of a shocker. I mean, it shouldn't be too shocking because Westbrook is the 2-time reigning state champion, but look at the score of this game. Westbrook wins 52-0. They did not make it to halftime, or I should say they made it to halftime, and because they were up by 45 or more points, they instituted the mercy rule, and Westbrook wins this one over Rankin. This is a matchup between the number 4 team and the number 5 team in the state, but Westbrook looked dominant. Rankin was hoping for some revenge because Westbrook has knocked them out of the playoffs each of the last 2 seasons on their way to the Wildcats winning the title, but no such luck for Rankin tonight.
Well, Jacob, I can't say that it's a shocker. Here's the thing about Westbrook. Teams that, the different six-man teams that I travel around and I talk with, they have always talked about how, how big it is to beat Westbrook and how dominant the Westbrook Wildcats could be.
And if you want to wonder if Westbrook can win a 3rd state championship in a row, I think you might have your answer. I think they are well on their way to competing for that. Some more 6-man action. Fort Davis playing at Grand Falls Royalty.
That's right, Jacob. So Grand Falls taking on Fort Davis. Kevin Perez, he pushes his way across the goal line for the touchdown for the Indians. As for Grand Falls, Jaden Martinez looking for a target, and he finds J.B. Burns in the end zone for the TD. Now check out this play, Jacob. This is actually pretty cool. So Kevin Perez, he snaps it, and he's looking for a target downfield. Now he finds a receiver who dodges a tackle. Now this will make it all the way to the house before taking out our cameraman.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, folks. Our cameraman, he's okay. Now later on, Jaden Martinez on the quarterback keeper, dodging defenders, Jacob, and he's just going to keep on dodging and running in circles. Whoop! Keeps on going. Whoop!
Somebody throw a block.
He just keeps on going.
No way.
He has blockers around him. Martinez goes all the way in for the touchdown. Let's just check out the final score to the result of the result. It was Fort Davis. They got the win 42-30 over
this one's not final. We haven't gotten an update on this one. We know it was late in the game. Last we heard there was like 4 minutes left. If you know what happened in this game, let us know. Comment in the YouTube comments here if you're watching. But last we heard, Fort Davis was leading this one by 2 scores, 42-30.
Yes, but I know you like that last touchdown, Jay.
That was a crazy play by Grand Falls, and I mean, we've had a couple that would be play of the week worthy. We've had some great plays from our teams this evening. There looks like another game that may still be in progress, or at least one that we haven't heard a final score for yet. Midland Trinity was playing out in Garden City, little private school taking on public school action. Garden City won this game huge last year, 61-0, I think, one of those halftime mercy rule kind of deals. Trinity sticking with them a little better this year. And again, last we heard, 4th quarter, Garden City up 51-23. If you know that the Bearcats win, shoot us an email, call us on the phones here, comment here in the YouTube section on our YouTube Live with our bonus Blitz coverage. And that would be Garden City's first win of the year as well, I should say. They played an incredibly difficult schedule. They took on a team that was somewhere ranked in the top 10 of the state, and then played the team that was literally number 1 in the state last week. So it's good to see the Bearcats, who are challenging themselves here out of district play, pick up their first win.
And you said before just now, Jacob, that Trinity beat Garden City last year, right?
No, Garden City won.
Oh, Garden City won. Okay,
I may have misspoken, but Garden City won huge last year.
Or I may have misheard you, Jacob, so I do apologize for that. Now, in more games tonight, it was Midland Holy Cross. They took on Sanderson. It was Holy Cross. The Crusaders got the win 78-30 over the Eagles.
Jude Mendez, the running back there for Midland Holy Cross, he had a big game last week. Another big one tonight. I see that he had about 300 yards of offense and 7 touchdowns there. That's how you get to 78 points in these crazy 6-man football games.
Sounds like we may have found our new player of the week.
Maybe, Jair. We can't make any promises. I seem like
true.
We had some other good contenders, probably somebody from that Kahoma game. I think there were some great players in that one. We'll see. You know, we'll form a committee and we'll discuss it. And we'll figure that out. All right, Marfa. They were playing Fort Hancock tonight. Marfa, they win this one easily. This is a 56-0. Again, I'm going to assume that was on a mercy rule. at some point, maybe first half, maybe second half. If I haven't made that clear, 6-man football in Texas, you have a 45-point mercy rule. So if you get to 45 points anywhere in the second half, that includes halftime, because obviously you go into halftime, you're going to start the second half with the same score, 45-0 or whatever that differential of 45 points would be. Anyway, great win for Marfa as they win 56-0 over Fort Hancock. Balmorhea, they played yesterday, actually. It wasn't supposed to be a Thursday game, but sometimes these games get moved around. Balmorhea picks up its first win of the season, taking on the Lubbock Homeschool Christian Titans. Very intimidating sounding, 71-34. Balmorhea's first win of the year because, kind of like we were talking about with Garden City, Balmorhea played Rankin week 1. That was obviously a tough matchup. They lost that one. Then got kind of surprised, stunned by Van Horn last week, so the Bears finally get in the win column.
Nice way to bounce back, Jacob. That's all I could say about those Balmorhea Bears over there.
Imperial Buena Vista, they were on the road in Hermleigh tonight. The Longhorns lose 42-20. That's their second loss in a row. They dropped one against Rankin last week as well.
And in more scores, it was the Grady Wildcats that took on the Crest Kangaroos. Grady, they got the win over Crest, 54-13, Jacob.
Nice.
Yes, and now as for the Sands Mustangs, they took on Midland TLCA, and it was Sands that got the win, 57-7. I actually want to check out if that's another mercy rule right there, Jacob.
I would assume so.
Yeah,
Yes, it looks like it follows that 45-point differential rule there. Yes, I think so. Well, Jair, I think that brings us to an end of all our games that we had to talk about tonight. I guess we'll close with some of our big picture thoughts or any of the real performances that stood out to you.
Well, what stood out to me that we didn't really talk much about afterwards was our 6A.
Okay.
It was actually the Midland schools that I wanted to actually touch more base with you on. So what did you notice? From what we saw, what do you think about the Legacy Rebels and the Midland High Bulldogs right now?
Well, both 3-0, both off to fantastic starts. They both look like very solid, and I'd say well-rounded teams, because it's not just the offense. I think both teams have shown they can play defense as well, which is going to be important down the stretch run. Midland High, I think, continues to be impressive because they're doing all of this. We've talked about it every week. They're doing all this without the guy who is supposed to be their starting quarterback. Stroman Bridges is a Division I type of athlete. He was going to be the starting quarterback. He got hurt in their scrimmage just days before the season, and now Tristan Love has come in as a sophomore playing quarterback for Midland High, and he's making things happen. We're looking at the Monahans Big Spring score here. Was there something you guys wanted us to talk about with this game?
I believe that we have an update, Jacob. Hey, guys.
Okay, we had the wrong score in for Big Spring before, so we were giving the Steers credit for a few extra points that they did not score. Monahans won this game 52-14. So all the nice things that we said about Monahans still hold true, and the Monahans defense, we're sorry that we didn't give you the credit you deserve as you held what is a very good and potent Big Spring offense to only 14 points.
Yes, thank you so much, guys, back there. And Jacob,
It's important to be right.
yes, we have to be right. That's part of our job, Jacob. We have to be as accurate as possible and tell the facts.
All right. Well, we'll move into week 4 of the season next week. We're nearing an end of district play. You know, some of our districts are a little smaller, so we don't have, you usually get 4, 5 weeks. Some of our teams have 6 weeks of non-district play. There's some flies in the studio that appear to be giving Jair a really rough time. You've got to battle through it, Jair. You've got to lock in on the camera and talk to the people no matter what's going on around you.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that, guys.
Oh.
But look, I'm very excited for next week. So we talked about Odessa High. They're having some trouble over there by Keller, especially weather-related.
Yeah, I think that's still in a lightning delay.
But we don't really get rain over here in West Texas. So Odessa High, they will actually be they will be playing their first game at Rattler Stadium this upcoming Friday. So I'm actually very excited to see, Big Red coming back home.
Yeah, that will be very exciting to see. Have they not played a home game?
No, they have not.
I guess they have not, right?
No, they have not.
They were in Lubbock, and they were in El Paso, and now they're
in Keller.
in DFW.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Odessa High home game next week to look forward to, and of course, a bunch of other great games that we will recap all here on the CBS7 Friday Night Blitz, both on CBS7 and here on our extended Blitz on YouTube. Thank you again to Jersey Girl Pizza in Odessa for feeding our Friday Night Blitz crew and some other people that just kind of wander around here in the office. They like to eat the pizza too. That's not what we're talking about, though.
No. Jacob, I actually have one more funny. I have a funny one for you.
Oh gosh.
I think. How about I actually want people to start commenting what kind of drills they want to see me do at these practices.
No, don't do any more drills at practices. We saw the video of you at Kermit trying to run a route, and it was awful. It was offensive to to anyone who saw it. Thank you all again for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get notifications about when we do these live shows every Friday, so you can be sure to, if you forget, you can click on that, tune in. We'll see you guys back here next week.